Is this a valid email address? It is, but does it actually exist? That's an entirely different question. Hey, it's Derek Martin from CodeOpinion.com, and I ran into a nightmare of an issue with the service I use because they did not think that email address was valid. Now, you might be familiar with the feature in Gmail called labels. And what a label is that you can specify your account name, in my case, Derek, and then a plus, and then a label. So in this case, my example here is YouTube at CodeOpinion.com. So my actual mailbox is Derek at CodeOpinion.com. But this label allows me to kind of either filter things or use different unique email addresses that are really under the same mailbox for a service. So there's really no difference between this email address and this email address. They're unique, but they're going to the same mailbox. And that's where things went sideways. A service I used must have changed their application, probably something to do with their database, and I got an email requesting that I do a forgot password so I could reset it. Here's the problem. When I tried to do that, I couldn't because their email validation changed and wouldn't even let me enter my email address because I use a label. And it's not that shocking because I just did a quick search to find some samples, and guess what? Enter an email address? Nope, doesn't work with the plus. Remove the plus, it validates it. Not great. Same thing over here. Nope, not valid. Get rid of the label, it's fine. But there's more to this than just a regular expression. But first, I'd like to thank Kurrent for sponsoring this video. Kurrent's an event-native data platform that feeds real-time, business-critical data with historical context in fine-grained streams from origination to destination, enhancing data analytics and AI outcomes. For more on Kurrent, check out the link in the description. Besides just a bad regular expression, I think there's a conflating of just what is a valid email address in format and what is an email address that the account actually exists. So let's just first start with what's a valid email address in terms of format. Hey ChatGPT, what's a valid email address? So a valid email address as follows, just the local part, an @ symbol, then the domain. It's not more complicated than that. And I think that's where some of the issue is trying to get these regular expressions to try to go too far when they really don't need to be. The breakdown here is just the local part is just anything basically before the dot, and it can include special characters. Then you got your @ symbol, which is breaking the local plus the domain, and then the domain portion. Some examples here, which all are valid email addresses, including like the filter of the label, various domains that you actually have, and then invalid examples. But this really needs to be simplistic from kind of that regular expression validity purpose. It's just local part @ domain. Now, obviously, you can have a valid email address, but does that email address actually exist? And that can go a whole lot of ways. Does the domain actually exist? Is there an MX record for that domain? Does the local part, does that actually route to an actual mailbox? The list goes on here of reasons why that email address might not actually exist. Now, a little bit of a naive way to deal with this is to actually send an email. So you do that initial validation and then actually send out an email. In my example, let's say I'm using AWS SES, where I'm sending an email out to that email address with some one-time code where I can send that out, and then the user, when they receive that email, if it actually exists, that account exists, and can be routed to it, then they can enter that one-time code in our app and continue the process of whatever they're doing where they needed to enter that email address. But there is a complication with this, is what happens if that email bounces. Now on the good side, you know that the email address doesn't exist. That's great, that's what you're trying to figure out. On the downside, using something like AWS SES, you have reputation metrics, and you can only bounce so many the percentage of emails that you're sending out. In the case of SES, I believe it's like 2% before you gotta get into warning territory there. So you can't just be willy-nilly sending out bounces all over the place. So you need to put this in context of whether you can just send out an email in this case, and depending on the volume, whether this is a good idea. Now let's say your use case is this is completely gonna work. We just wanna send a one-time code to make sure an email address actually exists. And if a bounce occurs, well, most providers have the ability to have a suppression list and let you know about it, or they provide their own way to add to the suppression list. So we obviously, like with SES, it has hooks basically to let you know when there is a bounce or a complaint that you can then manage your own suppression list so you don't send emails back out, or using their own suppression list that they provide that you can add that email address to the list. That way you can manage your metrics and you're not sending out emails to known email addresses that are gonna bounce. Now let's say in your context, you absolutely wanna know that the email address exists, but if you send out this kind of test email with a one-time code or verification link, you know in your context, your bounce rate's gonna be way too high and your provider's just gonna shut you down right away. What's the alternative? You need an alternative where you want to know that the email address actually exists, but you don't want to send out this test email. You can use a mailbox validation service. Just search it up, you'll find plenty of them. But the idea being here is the client enters their email address. You're just doing that very preliminary local part at domain validation. Then you can send that email address off to a mailbox validation. What they're doing is all the heavy lifting for you. So what they're going to do is look at the domain, actually sure that it exists. They're going to then find the MX record for that domain. They're going to then connect to the SMTP server to check to see if that mailbox that you specified actually exists and more. But they're going to actually validate within a very high degree a probability that the email address exists or does not. Gives you back the results. Then you can do whatever you need to do, return back to the client, hit your database, but you can use that mailbox validation service without having to really deal with sending out the email. Now, if you wanted to send out the email at this point to kind of do more verification that the user actually has access to that email account with your confirmation link, your one-time access code, now would be the time. So to validate email addresses, are you validating, or do you also want to know whether the email address actually exists? If you're validating that preliminary step, it doesn't need to be more complicated than the local part at the domain and be using a regular expression that's just based on that. If you're going more complicated, you're going to be causing headaches to your customers like they did with me and the service that I was using that prevented me from even using the label that I was using before. And to verify that the email account actually exists, if you need to, you could be using some mailbox verification service, or like I said, depending on your context, you could be doing it yourself by actually sending out an email. And then, like I mentioned, kind of dealing with the bounce rate appropriately if that's a concern for you. And this entire video is spurred on because of my personal experience and probably hours of dealing with trying to get access to an account I have on a service that made a simple email validation change. Not so much big headache. And get in the comments and let me know how you're dealing with email validation, or if you kind of had a nightmare like this, or if you're using mailbox validation services. Get in the comments and let me know what you're using. And big thanks to everybody that supports my channel, has joined it. If you want to join my channel, the link's in the description on how to join, and you can get access to a private Discord server. Just really appreciate supporting my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, make sure to leave a comment, and please subscribe for more videos on software architecture and design. Thanks.